couple episodes ago, I gave you guys a statement. And you guys weren't fond of it for some reason. I don't know why.
We spoke about why we weren't fond of it.
I said the Lions were the best, worst team that I've ever seen. I posted it on TikTok, and I love that the TikTokers loved what I had to say.
Oh, they did.
They called you. They said, this guy's a vibe killer.
They said,
and you were like,
they said, I hate the white guy.
And then they said, I don't mess with the guy that says I don't want to talk about it. You were the guy that said I don't want to talk about it.
I did.
Well, now we're going to have to talk about it.
Fair enough.
The Detroit Lions, they've been playing really well this season, despite their record. They're in a lot of close games. Do you think the Lions are the best, worst team that you have ever seen? They're 2-11-1 currently. What do you think?
It's close. I actually, they might be. They're definitely up there. I have the 2019 Dolphins actually as being one of those best, worst teams. They were 5-0. I know this is actually
this was Flores' first year.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct. So this is when they got blown out week 1 against the Ravens. Minka Fitzpatrick came after the game.
Year.
He's like, trade me. I don't want to be a part of this. And
tank for Tua season.
Correct.
Yeah.
They went 5-11 that year. They were projected to be the worst team in the league. To get 5 wins was pretty miraculous. Ryan Fitzpatrick was serviceable. 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 3,500 yards. Receiving-wise, Devontae Parker was spectacular for them. He had 1,200 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns. Defensively, Baker was really solid for them. He led the team in tackles. That's really what they missed, truthfully. Minka Fitzpatrick would have... Imagine Minka on this team now, truthfully. That would be unbelievable.
Javon Holland's been amazing, though.
But Jerome Baker led the team in tackles. I believe he had 126 that year. They still had Xavier Howard on this team. As a whole, they had some decent pieces, but given the fact that they were supposed to be projected the worst team in the league, finishing 5-11, putting up the numbers that they did, this is one of the teams I really tried. So all you see is when you look up best worst teams in the league, they just give you a list of the worst. So I just went off memory. This Dolphins team was supposed to be terrible, and they were pretty serviceable.
You want me to go?
Yes.
Okay, sure. It's a hard question because what qualifies a bad team? Like the Dolphins had 5 wins. Is that a bad team?
I would say under like 3 wins.
Okay. Yeah, it was tough for me.
It is. Listen, the Dolphins or Lions fans, if you're seeing this, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, I'm not a Lions hater by any means. I think they're a pretty good team. They're, for what they are record-wise, they're not bad. Like you said, they've been competitive. They've really only had like 4 games they've been blown out. Week 2 in Green Bay, what are you going to do? Week 6 against Cincy, another really good team. Week 8 against Philly, they lost 44-6. That's the one that really stands out, like, bro. And then and then Denver week 14, they also got killed. But again, in Denver, tough defense, tough environment. But other than that, they've won 2 of their last 3, and 4 of their losses have only been by one possession. So, overall, they've been a pretty good team for, a team that only has 2 wins. And when I look at, like, their personnel, I don't think they're in the worst spot ever, right? I definitely think there's teams that probably have worse personnel with them. Offensively, I think they have a pretty damn good offensive line. Taylor Decker is really solid. Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow also got. I believe he's been out. But he's been out. But
Jonah Jackson
overall has been a really elite center.
Injuries the Lions had to deal with.
And at running back, DeAndre Swift's one of the better running backs in the NFL. He kind of reminds me of like an Alvin Kamara light. He's a phenomenal pass catcher, not as good as a runner, but he has breakaway ability to make those big plays. Their receivers are really bad. Outside, Amon-Ra has had some moments.
I like him.
Yeah, I do too.
I like him a lot.
I do too. But they have some personnel, and defensively, they haven't been good. That's one part I will say. They really haven't been good defensively, but kind of like how we talked about the Jets, like let's figure out the offense. I think they stick with Jared Goff for another year. 2023, they have 2 first-round picks this year and in 2023. I think that's when they go after a quarterback, possibly a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud. I think Goff is the quarterback in 2022. But to answer your question, yeah, they're a pretty good bad team.
The Detroit Lions are the best, worst team that I've ever seen. And what they continue to do week in and week out is flat on amazing for me. What I see them do.
You are ridiculous, man.
The gut punches they take, the ability to get back up and keep swinging is something that has me in awe. It's remarkable.
They don't have a choice. They have to play every Sunday.
I'm a Jets fan.
What are they going to do, quit?
I'm a Jets fan. I see my team get blown out. I wish my team played with the heart that these Lions play with. They definitely roar. The Lions currently are 2
I
11
can't lose this segment.
and 1. 5 of their games have been one-score games. They lost to the Ravens on a 66-yard field goal, a record kick.
Insane.
But the goal kicker.
Yeah, he is. If you're gonna,
They
lose
lost
anyway.
that game. They lost to the Browns 10-13, one-score game. They lost to the Bears on a last-second field goal, 16-14. They lost on Thanksgiving. Come on, man.
That did hurt. Rude. That did hurt.
Versus the Vikings with 30.
rude.
Versus the Vikings with 37 seconds left on Minnesota's own 18-yard line. The Vikings, led by Kirk Cousins, they drive 46 yards and kick a game-winning field goal with no time left. They lose that game. Lions play with heart. They play with passion, and that's a credit to Dan Campbell.
Agreed.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Dan Campbell is the real-life Ted Lasso. And if you've ever seen Ted Lasso, you know why I say that. This year is a foundational year for the Detroit Lions, but they're building up something special. Whenever you go into a rebuild, whenever your team is bad, these are the things organizations are hoping for. You're hoping you hired the right coach, first off, and you're hoping you nailed your draft picks. The Lions, they nailed Penei Sewell. That was a great draft pick. And I think they nailed the coach and Dan Campbell. I think he's going to change around the Lions organization. I really believe that. They have draft capital for the future. They have 2 first-round picks this draft and next draft because of the Matthew Stafford trade. And they have some building blocks. Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, Julian Okwara, Jonah Jackson. I mean, they got some building blocks on defense. Trey Flowers, Romeo Okwara, who's been injured this season. They got some guys that can build around. This roster still has to be filled out. But kind of like that 2019 Dolphins team, you give Dan Campbell a competitive, a bad, but a roster with heart, he's going to win 5 games. The Lions, they're the best, worst team I've ever seen. They deserve a lot of credit, and the Lions are trending up right now. I'm buying stock into Detroit Lions.
Okay, so this time next year, Jets, Giants, Lions. Who's the best team?
That's a good question, man.
Going with the Jets.
I'm going with the Jets, too.
They got Zach Wilson.
I don't know how to answer this. I might go Detroit.
You look at Jared Goff, too. Jared Goff, he was written off, man.
He hasn't been bad.
He was
really
written
hasn't
off.
been.
Yeah, facts.
Jared Goff was casted as the problem, and now he goes to Detroit. Rough start.
For sure.
But Dan Campbell, notice this. He's able to call Jared Goff out and say he has to play better. Jared Goff starts playing better. He's been playing better as of recently. And this guy's he's been an okay quarterback this year. This is somebody that everybody calls the scrub.
Yeah.
And there's actually there's this guy on Twitter. His name is Computer Cowboy. And what he does is that he has like a bunch of stats and charts that measure things, but he measured the Jared Goff Matthew Stafford tracker to see how much of an upgrade Stafford is. And currently, Stafford is playing at 2017 Goff level. So he's playing at the same level as 2017
Goff was amazing
Goff.
that year.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
So,
So
I mean, Goff regressed mightily since then.
I know. And actually, in primetime games, Stafford plays like that the version of Goff we don't like.
And
Just
that's
letting you-
statistically proven?
Yes, by the charts. Yes.
By the charts.
Yes.
Okay.
By Computer Cowboy on Twitter. Okay. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think these Lions, man, I like them a lot. And I think Dan Campbell, he's going to change around the culture in Detroit for sure.
Yeah, definitely a culture setter. Hopefully Saleh could do the same thing.